Gamajoba. Today we are launching an information campaign on the local action groups, the LAGs, that we have been promoting for the past few years here in Georgia, and which we are very proud of and would like to tell a story about. There cannot be a true economic development in this country in an inclusive manner without taking into account rural development. And the LAGs are part of a much bigger framework in which the European Union is supporting Georgia, but it's so important because it's about an approach that is bottom-up, which is about local ownership and about entrepreneurship. First of all, to say that the EU has been engaged for many years when it comes to different aspects of rural development. But as you mentioned, the challenge is the number of people who live in rural areas and the fact that there is a gap very clearly between the urban and rural areas here in Georgia, with poverty rates about twice out in the rural regions, means it is something that one will have to pay attention to. And we did that back in 2013 together with the government when we came up with the NPARD program, which is our most holistic approach to developing both agriculture and rural development in general. Since 2013 we have spent some $500 million lari through different programs, 3 generations of EU programs. And I think many people in Georgia knows about NPARD. It's almost like a brand name in itself. And it basically means an approach where we are, on the one hand, working with direct support to the government, to support reforms at the central level, educate personnel and staff at the central level, to make sure that there's a modernized strategy taking place and taking root here in Georgia, down to working with advisory missions, technical assistance, more at the local level, down to the individuals through different local initiatives. So it's really a holistic approach that we're taking. And as I said, we have had so far 3 generations of this NPARD program, and we're now in the middle of negotiations that we hopefully will finalize by the end of the year for the 4th generation of NPARD. So because we think it's working well, we're very happy working with the government, and we're also happy to see the results we're getting together with many of our partners. Just to say from the beginning, I'm a big fan of these LAGs. I really think they're working, and I will tell you why. First of all, when it comes to NPARD as such, you can say that in many ways we are working in a central way. It's a big way. We're rolling out opportunities for many by setting the rules and standards and so on. And we need to keep going with that. But the LAGs are, in a way, the opposite of that. That is to go down really to the local level and empowering local people who arguably know what's best for their own community. So basically it's a grouping of people that will have different functions in the local society. It will be politicians, it will be businessmen, it will be activists and NGOs, all coming together and thinking about a local strategy for how to develop their own community. The focus is on socio-economic issues. So this local action group will define how they see their priorities. It could be about funding individual companies. It could be about tackling a local environmental problem. Or any sort of social care that is needed. Developing tourism has been a theme in many of our LAGs. And all of that coming from a realization from the ground of what you would like to do for your own community, which are the type of ideas that you will never get if you were planning to do that in Tbilisi or even worse in Brussels. So in our experience so far, after some 2 years of having these lags in operation and having 12 lags around in Georgia, has been very positive, I must say. I have had the opportunity myself to visit half of these 12 lags. Unfortunately, with COVID, I missed an opportunity to see 1 or 2 more, but I hope to be able to continue be out and meet with these representatives. So far, my experience is that I see a lot of enthusiasm. I see entrepreneurship being unleashed in these lags, which is exactly what we wanted, and something I myself personally am a true believer in, unleashing the ideas and getting these ideas airborne. So that's what these lags are all about. And I think, as I said, that it has been a success and recognized as such, because I see it catching up also beyond what the European Union is doing. The government will, in its forward planning, also take on the same type of approach as part of their overall strategy, which is something I welcome very much. I think that I would claim that the program has been successful, because obviously this is a process and we have a lot of work still ahead of us, but I think there are promising achievements made. I think that in terms of how we have been working with the government, in terms of setting a new strategy of modernization and ideas and priorities when it comes to rural development, we have advanced, and we are on our way of advancing together on the basis of best practices, if you like, from Europe. So we're trying to show what we have tried and tested and what we find the best ideas and bring them here to Georgia. I think when it comes to NPARD, it's clear, according to our estimates, that some 250,000 individuals in this country directly in some way have profited from this program as well, which is important, that people feel a difference and see opportunities created by this program. With regard to the lags, after only 2 years of being in business, we have created some 500 individual projects, possibly having a positive impact on at least some 10,000 people. And as I said, those ideas coming from the lags are probably some of the best ideas that we have managed to support. So overall, I think we're moving in the right direction, including with the restructuring of the agricultural sector towards more cooperatives and so on. So I think with that, if that trend is allowed to continue, we will step by step see more and more positive impacts, hopefully, on people's living out in rural areas. Well, basically, we're going to stay at it. So we are happy where we are. We have MPARD 3 still under operation, and we're negotiating MPARD 4, which we hope to be ready soon. And MPARD 4 will have more or less similar components as what we have done over recent years, basically because we believe in what we're doing. What we will add in MPARD 4 is, among other things, a more direct focus on vulnerable groups, which arguably, with the current COVID situation, is more important than ever. We're also endeavoring to promote especially youth and women more than what we have done in the past, which I also think is the right priority. But essentially, we're going to stay firm in continuing the support that we have been giving over the last few years. Well, the goal of the campaign is basically to bring out the good messages, trying to demonstrate some of the things I've been claiming in this interview, the good thing about the lags, what it means, how it works, and what is the potential of that. And I think that message is so important. It's about the issue of people who are watching this campaign getting some inspiration, getting a feeling for what type of ideas are out there, and start thinking about how to realize that in your own community or in your own neighborhood. As I said, we will continue in the future also to look at possibilities of developing the lags here in Georgia, and with the government now also moving in the direction very clearly towards this bottom-up approach. I think it's a very timely moment now to come out and show some stories from people who have been engaged and what their lessons learned have been.